Hi guys, this is George back here with another video and welcome to the 8th episode, I believe, working here in Adventure Springs Resort in Planet Coaster. It's been a while since I've done an episode on here. I've been slacking when it comes to Planet Coaster recently. So if you didn't see in the last episode, I built a zoo over here. And of course these aren't actually proper animals, these are just animatronics, but I mean I just wanted to build a zoo in this park, so I thought it was a nice thing to add, even though it's not a proper zoo. I haven't mixed Planet Zoo with Planet Coaster. So over here, this is just a bit of a gap for now. So eventually I'm going to add a food stand over here, a drink stand, some toilets, stuff like that. But I'm going to do that off camera. So today we're going to be starting on a brand new themed area, which is going to be over here. And we're going to be building a big new coaster. We haven't built a new coaster since this mega coaster, and it was quite a while ago we built that, pretty much because of how much I've been slacking when it comes to filming and uploading Planet Coaster recently. So over here we're going to be building a big new coaster. So this themed area here is going to be a steampunk themed area, and with the coaster I'm going to be building, I wasn't planning on building a coaster in this episode. I was planning on doing more for the zoo, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to do that off camera since it's not the most exciting thing to watch, but building coasters is a lot more exciting to watch. So the coaster that's going to be in this themed area is a B&M dive coaster, and I might add a couple flats as well, depending on how much space I have, because of course you may be looking at this thinking, George, you have literally all the space in the world. If you haven't been watching the series, then there is going to be a second park over here as well. So we're going to be having this park over here, and we're going to be having a studios park over on this side. So before we get to building the coaster, I'm going to build an entrance for this area. So once again, this is going to follow a pretty similar system with how the other entrances to the other themed areas are, and it's just going to be a hill that you walk under, and then you'll walk this themed area. And in terms of the theming around the coaster, I'm going to build a castle, and then I'm going to build a few towers as well. And then with this coaster, I'm gonna take a bit of inspiration from Crake at Hyder Park, with the fact that that drops into like big mouth of a fish, but instead with this one you're going to be dropping into the castle, and then you're going to come out the castle over the water, and I'll make some water effects as well, like there is on Crake. And yeah, that's going to be what this coaster is. It's not going to be a particularly long coaster. I've not got the most amount of space to work with here, so it's not going to be the biggest coaster ever. However, this is still going to be one of the major coasters here in this park. In terms of other rides, as I mentioned, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do in terms of other flat rides. There's not going to be any dark rides in this area, mainly because there's not really very much steampunk theming. So I'm going to bring this back around here so I have plenty of space for the coaster, and then I'll just cover this up with a hill or something so you can't see the temple from the adventure themed area. And with this as well, with the bottom half of the show building, it doesn't matter if there's a hill that goes in it, because you don't even see this bit anyway during the ride, because most of the ride takes place on the second floor. So it doesn't matter if this hill goes through the building, because you're not going to see it. So I'll build this up a bit higher. I don't really want it to be able to do very much with this. Of course, with the fact of the size of the building, of course you are going to see it a bit, but I'm going to try and cover it up as best as I can. In fact, you know what? At moments where you're really close to it, then maybe I'll just make this into a tunnel. You know, I'll come back to that. Maybe after the video, and then I'll work something out. But this here is going to be the tunnel, because this here is going to be the entrance to this area. So you know, once I've sorted this out, we can go build a coaster. And I'll need name suggestions for this coaster as well, so if you have any suggestions for a steampunk. Sorry, oh my gosh, I've been going on about this the whole wrong way. I mean a medieval theme. It's not going to be a steampunk theme at all. It's a medieval theme. I don't know what I've been chatting about. Sorry about that. Yeah, this isn't a steampunk themed area. This is a medieval themed area. That's what I'm talking about with the castle. My words out today. What's the matter with me? Okay, so I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll build maybe have the coaster so it starts off maybe around here. So if I build that about there, the station's of course going to extend back so we can run this on more than one train. So if we bring this back to about here, we shouldn't need it too much longer. And now we're going to have the lift hill. Oh gosh. There we go. So if we bring that up to about maybe here. Actually, maybe maybe a little bit less than that. There we go. So we need some decent height for this coaster because of the fact that this is going to feature a vertical drop. And this isn't where the drop's going to be. I just want to see how much space I'll have for a vertical drop because I do want it to be vertical. I'm not going to have a beyond, 90 point. That's fine. So this is what the drop. It'll end up looking something like this. So how does that look? That looks okay. Right, so we're going to have a turnaround section here. But I'm going to need to do a little bit of a dip just to make sure it doesn't stall on the turnaround. Can I make it any smaller? I can. That should be good. And then if I flatten that out, now I can make this a little bit bigger. Maybe a little bit more. I'm going to make a catwalk as well. I do want a catwalk. Oh, there we go. Oh. No, I don't want it there. I need it on this one. There we go. Right, that's sorted. So now this is where the drop's going to be. We're not going to be having a catwalk there. Go back onto here now. So in case we need to sort angles out, then we can do that. So if we bring this to... I don't want 89. I do. That's good. It's the slightest bit beyond vertical, but we're gonna stick with that. So now, of course, we need to get this to level out. That might be. Oh, you know what? That should be okay. But now, oh no, I'm a little bit concerned that it might be too close to the station. I feel like it might be a bit too close to the station. You know what, we can just have the castle coming out this side, and then we'll just have it. It's not going to drop into the middle of the castle. It's going to drop more on the side of the castle, but that should be fine. And I do want a viewing area for this as well, so I'll bring a path out around here somewhere so you can come and view this coaster, or bring it around this side or something so you can come and watch it as it drops. Because of course, like with dive coasters, they are really nice coasters to be able to just watch off-ride. A lot of people get a lot of enjoyment just watching them off-ride, me included. Like especially at Alton Towers, whenever like someone's in X sector getting food or something and we're waiting for the food to arrive, I'll just go off and sit down by the drop of Oblivion and watch that for a bit. So now, I'm not... So with Craig, that's got an Immelman. However, I don't want to do an Immelman because in this game, I'm not a big fan of how the Immelmans work. In fact, I'll try and find one and show you. Like, it's not looking too bad there. Then when you're on it, it just runs through it really, like, it doesn't run through it very smoothly. And with the fact that if I did do that, I'd have to bank the track, because if I keep bringing it down there, it's just going to lay on top of that track. So instead, I'm going to have a sidewinder here. That's a dive loop, not a sidewinder. There we go. Oh, that looks a bit iffy. Oh, wrong one again. Here we go. Here's the sidewinder. I'm still worried this might be too close to the station. What I might do is... Okay. I know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to... In fact, it might be too late because I don't want to have to get rid of the rest of the layout. Okay, I think we're going to have to stick with that. Wait, hang on. So what I want to do is... No, it's not going to work. Okay, we'll forget about that. And it doesn't matter, there's going to be a building here anyway, so even people standing in the station, you're not going to get wet from the water effects. So if we bring this out... In fact, that should be about good. And then, no, that's right, I need it the other way, there we go. So how... Okay, we're going to get this testing, because I need to see... Because I don't want this to fly through this inversion, but I don't want there to be too much hang time. I want there to be a bit of hang time, but not too much. This coaster is actually pretty tall. Like, I can't remember how tall the other coasters are, but you can't really see them from the pathways of the main park. You can only really see them if you're in the main area, but I feel like you're going to be able to see this from... Why? Oh no, it's not as bad as I thought. If you're on the... Oh no, you can hardly even see it. Oh, that's not too bad then. Of course, you can see the Immelman, the sidewinder there, but that's going to be covered up eventually. So here we go. So, oh, I need to place the Immelman. There we go. Right, let's see how it runs through this Immelman, this sidewinder. It's not an Immelman. Here it comes from the top section. Oh, it's got quite a bit of speed going around there. There we go. There we go. Over the drop. There it goes. So I'll do some triggered water effects over here. How does it run through that? It doesn't make it. Okay, so we need to make it a bit smaller. So if we bring that to about here, I think that'll be quite good and still make it so you get some good airtime. And then after this, that's pretty much going to be the end of the ride. It's not going to be a particularly long... I mean, these dive coasters aren't really particularly long, are they? In fact, you know what? Maybe we can do a little bit more with it. Maybe... Okay, instead of just having it end here, let's have it a bit like with Oblivion the Black Hole, so we can have it go up into a bit of an airtime hill. And then a helix. Don't know if I'm going to have enough space though, that is a little bit of a concern. Because I don't really want to be messing around with this terrain, just trying to get this ride to fit in. Okay, I'm going to need some bigger track pieces now. So it runs a bit smoother through this helix. So if we... Yeah, I think that's good. So if we bring this round... Oh, I knew that was going to happen. Here we go. that should be okay. And then I'm gonna have it go into a little. Okay, we know it makes it through the Sidewinder now. So I'll do something like this. We can have it go into a bit of an S-bend. I'll smoothen that out, don't worry. And maybe a little bit around here. I would like to cover this bit up. Like, I'd like the main focus of this ride to be, like, the main viewing point of it when it's going over the water. So that's something I'll do. If we bring that out to about here, then I can straighten it out. Here we go. Then this is where the brakes will be. Oh, it's still quite high up. Oh, that shouldn't be an issue. At least we'll have a little bit of speed after the brakes to take it back to the station. So if we auto complete it about here. No, I don't like the look of that. Oh no, wrong button. So I'm going to shrink the size of this. Right. Here we go. I think that might be too much because I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't line up. That's a problem. Okay, make it to 11. And that should be alright. Okay, so here it comes down the drop. Let's have a look at how much hang time there is. Oh, that's quite nice. Then into the airtime hill. I'll smoothen that out and I'll make sure that the terrain's not getting in the way of that helix. That'll be smoothed out. Into the brakes. And oh, it slowed it down a lot more than I thought it was going to. And there we go, back round into the station. There we go, I'm happy with that. So we're gonna, oh no. Go back onto the tracks, we need to smooth this out. So I want to smoothen out this section here going up into the Immelmann. The Sidewinder. What is wrong with me? Smoothing out the Sidewinder a bit because it didn't look like smoothest going through there. This bit here definitely needs smoothing. And so does this bit here. There we go. And we'll smoothen out this bit here. This section here as well. And then I reckon that's most... oh, and this, yeah, this bit here, and then that's... So let's have a look at this now and see if we can see a little bit of a difference. That looks a lot smoother. Now let's have a look at this bit. That's a lot smoother as well. Oh, that's still quite jolty. Right, so I think that is going to be good for that. So we're now going to get this on multiple trains. So how many trains can we get this on? Get it onto 4. Okay, that's good. So in terms of, I don't even know how I'm going to make it. So there's a path going over here. I'll make it so it comes over the brake run, I guess, and then it can come under this section here. Right, so let's start doing some of the theming around this. So I'm not going to do the castle now. In fact, I'm going to do that off camera because that's going to take a long time. So if we start the water maybe about here. Oh no. Wrong button again, George. What's that today? I'm losing it. There we go. Right, so I'm going to put that in there. And now from there, I'm going to make this bigger. So the castle will end right about here. They'll come round here because you're going to drop through the roof. Then you're going to come out through the front of the castle. Across the water where there's going to be some water effects. And then I'm not too sure what I'm going to do over here because I wasn't expecting the coaster to be this long, to be honest. I was expecting it to go through this sidewinder here. And then like do like a turn here and into the brakes, really. I wasn't expecting it to come all the way out here. But that's okay, we can improvise. So off camera I'll build the castle and I'll build the station for this ride as well, because that'll probably take a while, and then I'll start with some more of the theming around the rest of the area in the next episode. Whenever that's uploaded. I mean, it's me, isn't it? So it could be a month from now. That's what it's been recently, just the gaps between some of these episodes. I'm going to try and make it so Planet Coaster's a bit more frequent on the channel. So no, I just haven't had very much time to film it recently. To get rid of this whole section here. Sorry if you can hear that, by the way, there's an alarm going outside. Sorry if you can hear that. Someone's car alarm's gone off. Shut up. Okay, we'll bring it out a bit further here as well. It's a bit of an odd shape. Here we go. So that's probably, to be honest, I don't... Right, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make it so the trigger sets these effects off before you get to the ride, because the train gets nowhere near the water. So... I'm going to go into scenery and we're going to get some water effects, and then I'm going to trigger the ride to set them off as it goes past. Here we go. So which one's a good one? So not that. I want it to be more like an explosion kind of one. Definitely. Actually, hardly can see it. That's not. Maybe something like this. Let's go with that. So I don't know how many of these tick. So we could do maybe. I don't want you to be able to see it either, so I'm going to need to hold this up. So if we have one there. And then we'll have one about here. And then we'll bring it a bit further down here. One there. One there. And then we'll have one more set over here. There we go. So these are going to need to be triggered now. Here we go. So I'll have one trigger, so each trigger will set off two water effects. So if I do the first one, I don't really want you to actually get wet. I think it's far, like if this was real, I think that's probably far enough that you won't get wet. Like you might feel a little bit. Like, it's kind of like with Taron. Like with Taron after the second launch and you go past that waterfall. But I have seen some people coming off that before saying, oh, the waterfall got me wet, or I hit the waterfall, or whatever. probably be something like that, but you're not gonna get soaked. You're guaranteed to get maybe a little bit of a splash if you're on the end seats. Move that back actually. And there we go. Right. So let's see what this looks like now when one comes past. So here we go. One's about to go down the drop. And I will take you for an on-ride POV as well before the episode. In fact, I'll do that next. There we go. So it's not going to be on-ride so much that you see it. It's more going to be something to look at when you're off-ride, because I'm going to make it so there's a path coming out around here. You'll go over this section here, underneath here, and then you can stand here and watch the ride. And you'll be able to see it dropping into the castle as well, which I think is quite cool. So this is where the castle... Oh, in fact, you know what? It shouldn't be too much. So with the fact that the track's raised up a little bit, that might make it slightly difficult when it comes to building the castle. I think it's okay. Worst comes to worst, I'll bring the terrain up a little bit. Right, so this episode is about to end here, but before it ends, I'm going to take you for an on-ride POV of this new dive coaster. So here we go. Very slow lift hill. That's the first thing to comment about. So eventually, you'll get some nice views over there towards the Studios Park, and up here as well, because the Studios Park's going to be all in that section over there, you can see. And I imagine it'll come this far back as well. I've got some exciting plans for the Studios Park. I think it will end up being quite a big park. Well, big compared to this series, where I'm having to build everything quite compact. Here we go. So imagine you're looking down into the castle here, because that's what you'll be about to drop into. If you're in the back, there we go. Right, so now I'm going to move to the back. There we go. Let's see how long. Here we go. That's a nice view there. It's a shame you're not going to be able to get that view, because of course this is going to be a station building, and it is going to feature a roof. So let's see now. You'll be able to see it going up. I mean, wait, as you're going up a little bit, you'll be able to see it going up. But that's something that I really like with SheiKra of Busch Gardens, with the fact that when you're going up that lift hill, if you're on the train towards the second train, because they dispatch two quite close together. So of course, as the second train, the one behind, is going up the lift hill, you can see the one in front going down the drop. I really like that. And that's something that you'll hopefully get to experience on this ride as well. Here we go, hanging over the drop. We'd be about to drop into the big castle. Oh well, you'll be able to see the bonfire. When you're on the ride, you get the experience of being on the ride. When you're off the ride, you get the experience of watching the train ride past the next time. There we go. I'm happy with that. So there we go. That is the end of this video here. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at George Kelly Roller Coasters. Follow me on Twitter at George Kelly, and check out my other YouTube channel at Wealthy Eagle. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to like, comment, share and subscribe. Stay safe everyone, and I will see you all later. Bye!